the reason why you get pulled up on the journey side of things, it's like me, right, as a kid. Well, I'm not going to try and superimpose myself in your world. It's like me owning Crystal Palace.
Yes.
I was born 100 yards away from the stadium, right, in a little 2-up, 2-down house. I never, for one moment, spent any time looking back on my journey from that particular point of view, because I was in the business of what I was going to do next and how I was going to win and how I was going to be elite and how my team was going to be a Premier League football club, not the fact that I was the kid that used to look over the garden fence at the football club that I now own. Yes. And so my point is, and I think Paul's point, about the journey side of things, when you bring it into the equation, it feels, with all due respect, and you're a bold fella, so you can take it on the chin whether you like it or not, it feels like a bit of an excuse for the end of the outcome. Because you were bold about this fight, you were bold about other fights. And of course you're going to be bold, because why wouldn't you be? You're hardly going to go into the media and turn around and say, this is a difficult fight. Yes. You knew it was a difficult fight, you knew you were against a special fighter. And all of us have to say, and me with the least amount of right to say it, were perplexed by Anthony's performance. Yes. Because we expected blood and thunder. We expected you to have half an eye on the fact that there's an allegation that he gasses further down, your guy gasses and runs out when he gets on top for him. We expected you to have half an eye on that, but we expected your guy to come out and make a dent in this fella. Yes. And to get him going. And we were really surprised, weren't we, lads, at the fact that Anthony, of all his well-titled shots, this was the least impressive. Yes. Now, that's the point we're coming from. Well, not an assault upon you and just endless to make you uncomfortable.
You're just having your point. But what I'm trying to say is, are we looking at the level of our opponent? I don't think we are. We're not looking at the fact that... Paul's right next to me.
I did, Tunde. I looked at the level of the opponent. He's in with a great fighter.
But what I'm trying to say is, again, you will not know how good you are until you step into the ring with somebody that is it.
Fair enough.
Your brother, hold on, wait. Your brother had an opportunity to fight him. Your brother, you, Liam, all said that if the Benavidez fight were to come up, they wouldn't take the Yarde fight. Well, the Benavidez fight did come up. You're his brother. You should know. Why didn't you take the fight? You can say... So, if it's... No, you're going to tell me. But what I'm trying to say is, my thing is this. You can make as much excuses as you want in boxing. You can say no money. You can say it's not enough money. You can say it's not the right time. But ultimately, you have to fight. And if you're a fighter...
OK, ultimately, if you have no belt and you have no real way in the door,
so then what is it then? So is it about the belts? Is it about the legacy? Is it about the money? What is it?
I'm going to tell you, if you let me finish, I'm going to tell you, if Callum fought Buatsi for X amount and is then offered less to fight Benavidez when there's a title on it, that's not good for anyone. That's not smart. That's not what you do. So then why... But that same offer then gets offered to yourselves and you snap it up because you needed it.
Yeah. So then
Callum is now interim world champion and he's waiting for his next fight, albeit a bit long, but he's in the driving seat.
So my point is this.
The point is, you don't take money for a world title fight that is less than the fight you got before for the interim title.
So my point is that why would you publicly say if the Benavidez fight came up, we would take that over Yarde and then put all these roadblocks in the way to fighting him. So it's like, the reason why... This is what I'm saying. You lot moved the goalposts when you won. Whereas AY, Anthony Yarde, myself as a trainer who takes all the bullets, we ain't making no excuses. And ain't making no excuses. We're not saying... And this is the difference. This is the difference between Anthony Yarde and every light heavyweight in this country. When we're not... Anthony, because ultimately Ant's the one who has to fight, he ain't making excuses. He ain't saying if there's more money here or if the belt's there. Ant should have got paid more for Kovalev. Ant should have got paid more for Beterbiev. Ant should have been paid more for Benavidez. But at no time did Anthony say, I'm not fighting him. So that's the difference between Anthony Yarde and all of you guys. Because I'm like Buatsi, Bivol, even Bivol, the great Bivol.
I'm going to let you answer that before we move on.
Yeah, all of you guys, none of you guys want to fight. You just talk, and that's why when I come in there, I get so hot and heated and excited. Because I'm like, I listen to you guys, and I'm saying, you lot are all talk. But you're not fighting. You're not giving the fans, the public, what they want. When you go into the barber shops, they don't want to hear, oh, there wasn't enough money. Oh, they want to even have something, like you guys do, have something to criticise. Have something. Really? Yeah, listen, you guys want to have something to say, oh, you see, Tunde, he didn't do his job. Or, you know what, the corner man didn't stick it. But guess what? We fought. That's the difference.
Listen, I'm with you, mate.
So,
okay,
right. So,
and hold on. So, I need to clear this. I need to clear this thing because it's like I sit down, I listen to you guys. I say, you know what? thank God. I'm not a talker. But when it's time to talk, I'm going to let you know.
What do you make of that? Is it fair what you just said, that people in the public domain and the fans themselves are not really interested in how much the fighters get out of the fight? They want to see the people making the fights that they say they were going to make.
Absolutely, the fans want to see the fights, but absolutely.
That's what you're saying. You're stuttering because you know the thing. Just tell the truth.
I'm telling the truth. Absolutely, the fans want to see the fights.
Yeah.
But not one of them fans who go to work every day going to take a pay cut for a job that they can get. So the fighters have to be paid rightly. Now, again, just to get to the point.
So it is about the money.
It's not about the money, but the money has to be there.
But you just said they have to get paid right.
OK, well, here's one. You've just said to yourself, Anthony Yarde should have got more for that fight,
But he didn't, but he still fought.
Why didn't he?
It's still fault.
It's his manager's fault why he didn't. You get what you wear.
That's a different conversation.
Come on,
and you did open yourself up for
you
that.
get what you wear. OK, Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi both fought each other in Riyadh in a fight of the year contender, and both got paid more than what Yarde got for fighting Benavidez.
That's fine. That's a different
discussion. Business.
Rubbish. Don't lie to the people. How much does Yarde get for fighting Benavidez?
Probably a couple of million. Oh, a couple of $1 million.
Hold on, so probably. So you have no idea what we got. You know, no, that's what you. No, that's what you was offered. No. And this is what I'm saying. That's what you was offered. You don't know our paycheck.
It's not me.
You don't know.
It's not me. It's
no, but don't say. But you're coming on a public platform and saying that. And that's a lie. That's a lie.
But the only difference I would suggest to you about Callum Smith and Anthony Yarde is Callum Smith has been a world title holder, and so he has a different currency. And if he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez for 2 and 6. Metaphorically speaking, he doesn't have to. Where you might have a point is if he said he would fight him and he didn't put any caveat attached to it.
I can answer that one, Simon. When you're saying we said, or Callum said, he would rather fight Benavidez over Anthony Yarde, absolutely he'd rather fight Benavidez over Anthony Yarde, because what has Anthony Yarde done to deserve the fight with Callum Smith or even a Buatsi? Buatsi's lost now, so that might be a good fight between him and Callum, but Buatsi obviously was wanting the fight. It was for the interim title. Anthony Yarde had nothing at all to offer Callum. Nothing to offer Callum.
Let me answer that question.
And I know you see Anthony in that, but Callum has always been ranked above Anthony.
Don't make statements now. Don't make statements.
The statement is Callum Smith is a better fighter and is ranked above him.
Wait. You said what did Anthony Yarde have to offer Callum Smith?
Yeah.
Did Joshua Buatsi fight for a world title when he fought Callum Smith? Has Joshua Buatsi to this day fought for a world title?
At the time.
No.
Yeah, but
so what do you mean that's not offer? It's got a lot to do with it.
Joshua Buatsi had the interim WBO title, which Callum took off.
It's got a lot to do with it. You said so what you're saying is
nothing to the table.
So what you're saying is Anthony's 2 world title shots mean nothing?
Not when it comes to fighting Callum. No, who's been a world champion.
But you have to accept that.
He doesn't bring nothing to the table.
You might not like that answer.
Absolutely not.
Josh Buatsi, at that particular time, was an undefeated fighter that people were perceiving was going to be a world champion. They might have learnt different lessons now because Callum beat him. So it's not. You might not like the answer that Paul's given. And he might not like your assessment, which I think is also fair to suggest if you make a claim you're going to fight somebody, don't put caveats behind it. But by the same token, if he doesn't think that your guy's 2 world title shots, in which he lost both of them, are a meaningful reason for him to go into a fight with him rather than just Benavidez, then I think he's got that right to say that as well. So look, anyway, listen, we've had this discussion.
It's a good domestic fight, but this Callum's attitude is, it's not about him or him, it's about the belt. Who's got the belt? There's the belt.
We'll talk about Callum later. We're never going to square this circle. Let's move on to what the future can look like in 2026 for Anthony. I mean, Spence, look forward and see what you think the direction of travel is, and then Tunde can pick the bones out of what you might say there.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you've got Bivol and Beterbiev who've got the titles tied up. You know, you've got Callum Smith there waiting to fight Benavidez. Is Benavidez going to move up? Where are all the moving parts? You go, Anthony Yarde's now sitting there waiting, like, where does he go? Because Smith's tied up now. You go, where does he go? Does he have to drop back down to domestic level? You're talking about your Ben Whittaker's, Craig Richards has just beat Dan Aziz. But where does he get the motivation then? You know, because this guy... Look, we've got to give this guy his flowers, Anthony Yarde, because he's stepped up and he's dared to be great on 3 occasions.
Everybody does.
Absolutely, right? So it's just unfortunate he's come up against 3 pound-for-pound stars, yeah, and he's fallen short. As you go, that's the problem where he's at. He's in an era where he's boxed the best, and you know, that's difficult. Tunde talking about the sparring, by the way, just wanted to touch on that as well. Because they don't document the sparring, that then creates that conversation, that talking point of like, you know, well, it's only body sparring he does, or does it? No one really knows what he does. I've seen him in the gym, by the way, and I've seen him sparring. I see what they do, and it is hard graft. So I've been up close and personal. We've been there on a few occasions. So the kid does put in the work.
Sorry.
The kid does put in the work.
That's the thing, no, and this is what I wanted to ask you in person. It's not, we all say that, you do your running. What running do you do? Do you do your sprints? Do you do your track? Do you do your hill running? It's the sparring. I mean, what level of sparring was it? How frequent was the sparring? How many rounds? Does he do 10 rounds sparring? Does he do 12? I know he's got to spar to get the titles. We're all boxing people. We're not stupid. I know exactly that he has to spar. He can't go without sparring, but what type of sparring?
Well,
is it conditioned sparring? Is it tough sparring? Is it windmill sparring? Do you have 2 different kids, 3 different kids? That's what I don't know, and that's the rumours I hear. Now, the rumours I hear from outside your gym is that he doesn't do any of the hard stuff.
Well, you know what rumours... You know what rumours are.
That's exactly why I'm asking yours, man.
I'm saying
that's exactly why I'm
saying like, we don't talk about what we're doing. We don't feel the need to talk about it because ultimately you're going to get in a ring and you're going to have a fight. The best way to prepare for a fight...
It's fine.
Closest way, you spoke about how I train. There is nobody on this planet that has a system like mine, a system that ultimately works, a system that can take 2 novices. Anthony, listen, I've done it again. Joe Kadua, 10 fights, 12 amateur fights, exactly the same as Anthony Yarde, Commonwealth champion, silver champion, Southern Area champion, just won the English title against kids who's been boxing the same time as you, the same time as your brother. So I am obviously doing something because I'm taking kids. You can't, this is my teaching philosophy. You actually can't teach anybody. You can only bring out what's inside of them. So I have done it with Adam Azim. I have done it with numerous fighters, Hassan Azim. Kevin Mitchell was with me. The list goes on and on. I've trained these fighters in my system.
In there?
And I don't know, and that's a fair point. But guess what? I didn't have the experience.
I've heard
Listen,
of that.
we say...
But that's the standard you're being judged by now. Is the standard you should want to be judged by, right?
Yes.
Which is at the very elite level.
Yes.
No one decries your ability. You're being judged at the harshest level because you're now at world level and people are looking at the outcomes and looking at Anthony and questioning why.
Yes.
Surely now, with all the background noise that we've just discussed, and some of it we'll never agree on between specifically you and Paul about Callum and the reasons why he didn't fight Benavidez and why he hasn't fought your guy. Surely now there must be a real appetite and an opportunity to fight Josh Buatsi. People will want to see that fight. It does mean that we're walking Anthony Yarde backwards from a world level fight.
It's a good fight. And let me tell you something. Josh Buatsi, the new kid on the block, one of my favourite young fighters, Ben Whittaker, and still Callum Smith. The thing is, for me, the only reason why these names are coming now is because they're probably looking at Ant as he's past his best.
Yeah. Ben Whittaker's not looking at your guy now, is he?
I'm saying, you never know, but I'm saying, why were you not fighting Ant when Ant had almost a perfect KO record? Because it's the same chess moves. Wait.
Boxing's always all about timing, right? So but what I'm saying to them, like, in these other kids' defences, it's all about, like, you get calculated gambles, right? And so Anthony Yarde, who's well respected, has been a well-respected, world-class light heavyweight. Some of these young kids, like, let's use Ben Whittaker, you used him, he's the special talent coming through. Ben might be looking at him now, off the back, you're only as good as your last defeat, off the back of that defeat and going, you know what? Now's the time. It's a calculated gamble. And that gamble, by the way, Joshua Buatsi done that against Callum Smith. He took that gamble and he thought that Callum Smith was there for the taking. Callum said, no, it's not. And he's in that bracket right now.
100%. And I agree with you. And to answer your question, Sam, I feel like Joshua Buatsi, it's a great fight. It's a fight that I feel like the boxing public have wanted for so long.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, no fault of Anthony's, because we've accepted that fight 3 times. And this is the point I'm saying.
I've got to pull you there, Tunde, and I don't want to... I mean, listen, I was across the situation surrounding the Buatsi desire to fight Anthony last year when it ended up with Willie Hutchinson. He didn't want to fight Willie Hutchinson. At no point did he want to fight Willie Hutchinson. He wanted to fight Anthony Yarde. And part of the reasons why he fell out or ended up extinguishing his relationship with Boxer was the contractual obligations to deliver Anthony Yarde.
Yes.
And part of the reasons why he couldn't deliver Anthony Yarde is because you guys were playing hide and seek with yourselves over your relationship with Frank Warren. And so it wasn't just as straightforward. As you saying, "Oh, they're all coming now."
Sam,
Josh Buatsi is not coming now. He was coming a year ago. And Ben Whittaker is not coming now because he's a 5, 6, 7 fight novice.
Sam, can I say something? You're sitting there in your elevated chair. You're sitting there in your elevated chair. You got your pocket thing there. You got your Rolex, but you ain't in the rooms. You're not in the rooms, Simon. you have good connections.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, as the manager, the trainer of Ant, I'm telling you, documentation was there.
Okay.
I'm telling you that 24 hours, in the 24th hour, JB refused to sign. I see the contracts. You lot don't see the contracts. So it's all right for you to sit up there in your elevated state and say and tell the world and the public that this is that and this. But I'm saying, unlike most trainers.
But you weren't. But you weren't playing hide and seek with yourselves.
Unlike
you
most
weren't
trainers.
dancing with Ben Shalom. You weren't falling out.
Who told you that? We said.
I don't know. Maybe. Who do you think?
No. But.
Maybe Ben.
So Ben tells the truth all the time, right?
Oh, no, everyone else doesn't tell the truth, but you do.
No, but I'm in the ground. I'm here.
All right.
I'm
but
not,
the future. All I was doing was correcting you. The reason why I was addressing that point was because you're suggesting that everybody sees a wounded animal now, and now they're getting brave.
Well, yeah,
and I don't think that's the case. Ben Whittaker wasn't getting brave a year ago, and he won't be getting brave now. He's not going to fight Anthony Yarde anytime soon.
No. Don't start putting propaganda out there. I never said Ben Whittaker's get's getting brave. I said Ben Whittaker's one of my good fighters, favourite fighters. Okay. I said that will be a good fight. At this time, it'd be a good fight, because as you said, they were looking at Ant as a wounded animal. I think that fight would sell more.
Not just
than maybe. I mean, if I was a trainer, I wouldn't do that. You get what I'm saying? But I'm saying the name that everyone has wanted for so long is Joshua Buatsi.
Absolutely.
And I don't think Ant would
there's a distinct possibility we can see it this year.
100%.